What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back for another review of Tyler Perry Sistas. This is season 7, episode 3, and the episode is titled Grand Opening, Grand Closing. So, y'all, let's get right into this review. So, Andy, she gets to work, and Fatima, she quickly grabs her up, like, girl, where have you been? Okay, I've been blowing your phone up. Don't you see what's going on around here? The FBI is looking for Gary, okay? The man is being investigated. Now, Fatima, she done overheard some things, and she heard this man was embezzling money. But here come Andy, talking about some, Gary's an honest businessman. Girl, if you don't shut up, like, this man has put you through all kind of stuff. Remember when he got your money seized? Why are you acting like everything he do is squeaky clean? Cut it out. His whole life he been lying to you. Stop playing. So, what's her name? Fatima, she called him a high level scammer. And I said that's exactly what he is, okay? So y'all, Andy, she thinks that she's in the clear for some reason because she's not with Gary anymore. And all the gifts that he gave her are in her name. But here's the thing, girl, if they find out that it was bought with Gary's money, then that could actually get taken from you, okay? So here comes Hayden, right? And he basically says that he's good when it comes to the situation with Gary because it was all on paper, everything seemed legit when he was doing business with him. Now, here's the thing. Hayden, he feels like, they should be on the same side because don't throw me under the bus and I don't throw you under the bus, okay? He basically trying to make a deal with Andy. I said, I don't know about that. I feel like if anything, Hayden will save himself over all of y'all. So I wouldn't trust Hayden. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and move on. Y'all, we have Danny cleaning her house. So that was a first. We ain't never seen her pick up a duster. We ain't seen her pick up a vacuum, no nothing. But now she is cleaning her house. And Tony, he's like, oh, why are you cleaning up? And she's like, because I have the therapist coming over. And also, this man, he out here leaving condom wrappers everywhere. And here's my thing, you guys. When it comes to Tony and Danny, I get it that, this is her man and all of this. That's cute. He always laid up at her house. But it's really giving Preston 2.0. And I'm not understanding why. This man is supposed to be, what was it, a VP of some position at the airlines? Why is she not laid up in his house? Okay, instead of this cramped apartment, this cramped studio apartment. Why is Danny not laid out in his California King bed? You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure he should have a house. He should have a home. I'm not understanding why we can't go to his house. He got to come over here all the time. That's weird because we know he supposedly got money. But nonetheless, back to the story at hand. Another thing that I realized about Tony and what's her name? Tony and Danny is that their dialogue between them is written so much better than her communication with Preston. Like, whenever we used to see Preston on the screen, it would be Danny getting off work. He'd say, how was your day? How was work? How are the girls? It was always that. But thanks to the writers, I feel like we're going to see a lot more real conversations between Tony and Danny. But nonetheless, they talk about how, she's going to do this therapy session or whatever. And I was a little confused, you guys, because he didn't want to help her clean up, right? He's like, okay, you got it. My thing was, why was he walking out the door with only half of his clothes on, like he was leaving after a one night stand? I'm like, what's going on here? Tony, get it together, okay? So, next thing you know, the therapist, Carisha, shows up. I think her name is Carisha. But let's just go ahead and move on and come back to that later. Now we jump on over to Pam. She is creating content like she always does for the salon. And of course, Karen does not want the camera all up in her face. So, Pam, she's planning on having them go viral. And Karen, she just wants to make sure that Pam is actually working. So, next thing you know, the power goes out and in walks this white woman. I'm like, who is this? So she's like, oh, I'm Shauna. I'm the building owner. I said, skirt, building owner? What are you talking about? We left off thinking that Karen was going to buy the building. She was supposed to be buying her new location. Y'all have not said anything about the deal falling through, her not having funds. Y'all ain't said nothing about that. The only thing that y'all said was that Jason Weaver, he ghosted her. Him ghosting her had nothing to do with her buying that building. Or am I crazy? But I guess, y'all, nonetheless, old girl said, listen, your payment didn't go through. You have insufficient funds. So we about to go ahead and shut this down. Now, my thing is, first of all, girl, you're giving major attitude and I need for you to relax. And then also, she wanted Karen to fix this payment thing ASAP. And I'm just like, whoa, girl. Let her, get her money together. It may take a day to process. Hold on a little second. So now we're going to have Karen have to scramble to get this money to this lady before her grand opening. Well, she didn't really have to scramble. I think she just needed to transfer some money. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and move on, y'all. Gary. Gary is calling Hayden. And baby Hayden wants no parts of Gary, okay? He wants nothing to do with that man. And I don't blame him. Okay, I really don't. He's not trying to get involved with Gary anymore because he's not trying to go down with the FBI. Then when he gets off the phone with Gary, we see that Tamara is there. I said, whoa, blast from the past, where you been? So Tamara is trying to get back with Hayden. She admits that initially she was brought in to kind of mess with him, get his money, whatever. But then she actually fell for him. And baby girl wants that old thing back, okay? I mean, she's literally sitting on his desk about to bust it wide open or whatever. And I feel like we left on not knowing if he took her back or not. I don't remember him saying anything like, okay, let's give this another try. So maybe Tamara will be back, maybe not. We'll have to see. Moving on. We move on to Andy and Fatima. So Fatima, she's trying to reassure Andy, that she's going to be okay. I said, is she? I mean, she's quite tied up in Gary's mess, if we really want to be honest, okay? Especially with her accepting that damn car and that penthouse. So while Fatima is there, she's also checking to see if Andy has been working on Zach's case. Because, some paperwork has been sent Andy's way. But listen, girl, she too busy worried about Gary. Okay? She ain't got time to be worried about Zach and, him trying to get custody. But Fatima, she does tell her, like, listen, it's really serious that we are able to get custody of his son, Michael. Okay? And according to Andy, she's right on top of it. Okay, girl. So let's go ahead and move on. Let's go back to Danny, okay? So she's having her first session with the therapist. Now, it is very clear that Danny really doesn't want to be there. She has no interest in opening up. She's just not trying to accept the therapy at all. So the therapist was like, I just need for you to give me some real answers. And then she was like, Danny, I could tell that you're a real one. Then she ends up questioning her about like her friendships, like, oh, how are your friends or whatever. And the therapist is like, well, listen, maybe your friends saw something in you that could use some therapy. Okay? Like, maybe that's the reason why they suggested it to you. But if you're not open to, receiving the help, I can't do nothing with that. So she ends up leaving. Okay? She ends up leaving and she's like, you can reschedule any time whenever you're ready. But baby, you're not about to waste my time no more. And I was like, yeah, Danny, not only did you waste her time, you wasted her gas too. Because baby girl had to come all the way over to your home for you to lollygag and play in her face. Do better, Daniela. Please do better. So next thing you know, Danny's phone is going off, but she doesn't even answer. So moving on, we go to the bank. Um, of course, Sabrina is there, and Rich he ends up coming through to deposit some checks or whatever. And he tells Sabrina that he doesn't want her to think that he was mad at her, because he just up and left her house when she was drunk, and that they could talk later about what happened. I'm like, okay, fine. I'm telling y'all right now, something about Rich, I don't really care for him. But we're going to move on. So here comes that delivery guy again, back to Karen's shop. And, Karen has packed up all the extra stuff that Pam bought. And she tells him that, he can go ahead, take that stuff back. Now, it was weird for me to hear him say that he could have packed the stuff up for Karen and all of this. I'm like, sir, you're doing a lot. And also, when he said something along the lines like he didn't want her baby daddy to run up on him, and Pam was like, oh, well, she's single. I'm just like, I guess. Like, I'm sorry. I understand Karen is beautiful and all of that. And some men may be into pregnant women. But I'm going to be honest. I'm kind of tired of this whole idea of, oh, well, all these guys are into Karen even though she's pregnant. And they just completely look over Pam. Because Pam is looking great this season. You hear me? I mean, amazing. And I'm just like, how are they overlooking her? Like, be so for real. I would love, like I said, I would love to see Pam be integrated more into the sisters and have her love life popping. Okay? All right, y'all. So it is the grand opening of Karen's Fresh Start. And Danny arrives first, right? And then Sabrina shows up. So when Sabrina gets there, she's like, oh, where's Andy? And I'm just kind of like, wow, that's kind of weird for you to say that, Sabrina, because you didn't even like say, hey, Karen, congratulations. No, nothing. You first start off with, where is Andy? As if she's the focal point of right now. Ain't nobody think about Andy. So Karen, she was like, well, maybe you should ask your friend Fatima where Andy is. So the girls were taken aback. And next thing you know, Andy comes in. And of course, Andy is taking all of the air out of the room because she has to talk about her day. She has to talk about, oh my gosh, there's so much going on. The FBI and Gary and blah, 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 blah. Girl, did nobody ask you that? Not a one person asked you about your day. Again, you ladies are so selfish that you don't even see that you guys literally walked into Karen's new establishment and start talking about yourselves. Karen is standing right there. You didn't say, oh my gosh, congratulations, Karen. Karen, this looks amazing. Oh my gosh, sorry we're running late, Karen. How can we jump in and help? None of that. What kind of friends are these? It don't even make sense. Because the next thing you know, Danny takes the floor and she wants to talk about how her therapy session went. I said, girl, you shouldn't even jump in and say a word because nothing happened in that session. Not a damn thing happened. Then here comes Sabrina telling the ladies about she asked Rich for his sperm. I was so irritated because it just seemed like the girls didn't even come in with the intentions of speaking to Karen. Like, it was weird. So they made this whole moment about them, and I was so glad that Karen checked them about it because she had to let them know, like, listen, this ain't the place for all of this. And the fact that Andy's like, well, we always, talk and all this stuff. Sweetheart, because it's bad enough that I asked y'all for y'all help. I asked y'all to come help me decorate and do some things. And y'all already know that I'm pregnant. But y'all all decided, oh no, we're too busy. We can't help you, Karen, even though Karen has absolutely been there for her friends. I'm not even going to deny that. Like, I really was Team Karen. And y'all know I ain't been Team Karen in a long time. I was actually Team Karen in that moment because it was so ridiculous how the ladies were treating her. Like, yeah, how y'all just gonna make the moment about yourselves? Ridiculous. So, you know, um, she even brings up the fact that they were having brunch with Fatima, right? So then Danny, she's like, oh, so that's what all this is about. No, that does not take away from the way y'all just strolled up in here and completely ignored her and her, what she got going on. That does not take away from that, Danny. Now, yes, she may feel some type of way about y'all going to brunch with Fatima and the fact that you posted photos, you know what I mean, of y'all having a grand old time, but that was just another layer. As far as what was happening right then and there, Karen absolutely addressed it at the right time. So the ladies, they actually apologized to Karen or whatever, and Karen basically told them, listen, all I need from y'all is to smile and be happy for her. And I'm just like, girl, I don't even know if some of them is happy for you. I really don't. But let's go ahead and move on. We see Zach. He's in the car. He's acting out scenarios, of what will happen when he sees Karen that day. And he gives her some flowers. So next thing you know, Karen's mom hops in the car. I said, sir, why are you riding around without locking your doors? That's strange. Nonetheless, Miss Lisa, she talks to Zach about, why is he coming to support Karen, all of this stuff. And she talks him out of coming to the grand opening. Okay? She said because her daughter don't need that type of support from him. Because she needs a man who will be available for her. And I'm like, okay. So the whole thing that Miss Lisa was putting down, honestly, I did not agree with it. Some of y'all might, but I don't. I feel like I wasn't feeling Miss Lisa when she told her to write them stupid ass letters, and I'm not feeling her right now when she told Zach that he shouldn't come to the grand opening. Listen, if this man is trying to have a better relationship with his child's mother, I don't think it's going to do harm for him to support her and say, hey, congratulations, you rebuilt your shop. You know what I mean? You did it on your own. You didn't even use my money for it. You did it all on your own. I'm proud of you. That's not a bad thing. Also, I don't even think Karen is in a place right now to be like, oh my gosh, Zach wants to get back together. I think she's moved past that. It doesn't seem like Karen is still in that same place that she was 3 months ago. Now, what I feel like Miss Lisa could have told him, honestly, is like, hey, Zach, sure, you can come on to the grand opening, but I wouldn't have brought red roses because that's more so for someone who you're actually dating. Maybe you should go get a different type of bouquet of flowers, you know what I mean? So that way she doesn't think anything. Okay, cool. Because for me, I thought that the red roses were too much. I'm like, no, he needs to go get that little bundle of flowers. Y'all know the one where you can get the bouquet, got like 50 different types of flowers, where it has like the pink flowers and the sunflowers and a whole little mix up. That's what he should have gave her. Now, y'all, let's just go ahead and move on over to Gary, okay? We see Gary and Penelope is at his office. So he ends up getting her favorite food. And, she's like not buying into whatever he's trying to put down because Penelope is still upset about everything that happened at Andy's apartment, right? So he's like, oh, trying to kiss all on her. And while he's doing that, he opens up the plate of food and pours it all on her stomach. And I'm just like, wait a second, this was no accident at all. He did that on purpose. So she ends up getting up, storming out the room or whatever, so that way she can go clean herself up. And this man, he did all of this just so he could scam her. Like, she literally left her purse in there so that way she could go get cleaned up and he done raided her wallet and took all the photos of her damn credit cards. I'm like, yo, he is a desperate scammer at that. Gary is out of control. But let's go ahead and move back onto the salon. So Karen, she is cutting the ribbon of Karen's fresh start, and she's so happy, you know. Then we jump on over to the ladies minus Karen. They're talking to Pam about how, it's been so great that Pam has been around to really like help things get done when it comes to the salon. Hell, honestly, Pam has been the only friend that Karen has had, if you ask me. So Karen, she walks up or whatever, she tells Pam to go help the other clients. And Andy, she ends up giving Karen a gift from all three ladies, but told her to open it up later. So Karen, she's like, thanks for supporting me, unlike some other people. And of course she's referring to Zach. And I'm just like, well, girl, your mama is the one who stopped it from happening, okay? He tried. So Andy, she ends up getting a call from Fatima, and Fatima's like, listen, you need to get back down here because they mentioned your name. So you need to come back to the office. So Andy, she got to slide right back to work. Now, one thing that's like sticking out to me is I'm like, Karen, why didn't you have this grand opening on a Saturday? Like, was this like a Friday or something that you had this grand opening? Because it ain't making no sense that all your girls went to work and then they had to come to your grand opening. Whatever. Nonetheless, um, let's slide on over to Sabrina and Rich because we had to go to Rich's job, and I guess he is the owner of a juice bar. I think that's what was going on there. So they sit down and talk, and at first, he's feeding her all of these compliments, right? About how great of a person she is and blah, blah, blah. Sir, get to the point. So he tells her that because he has 8 siblings who all have their own children and he's the oldest, he feels like he's been taking care of kids his whole life. Sir, I'm judging you right now. I am. Because you just told me that you were the oldest, which means that you could have left the nest, okay? Nobody told you to stay there past the age of 18. Talking about you've been taking care of kids your whole life. I know that you've had a solid 20 of them on your own. What the hell are you talking about? When you were married, were you taking care of other people's kids or something? Like, I'm just a little confused because, like I said, he's almost 40. If he's not already 40, you could have separated from your family. Like, who chose to be around these people and their kids? That was your choice. Now, when it comes to Sabrina, Sabrina says that she has always known that she wanted to have her own kids. Even when she was a kid herself, she knew that at some point she wanted to be a mom. I'm like, okay, well, y'all two need to go ahead and let this end right here because this ain't gonna work. That's how I feel. So instead of breaking this off, y'all, Rich says that, if they see a future with each other, it might look a little different than they imagine or whatever. And I'm just like, Sabrina, head for the hills, girl. That man is not going to bend to what you want. That means that he's waiting on you to say, you know what? I thought I wanted to have kids, but I'm okay with not having any. Like, that's the energy that is giving. I'm sorry, but when people say that they don't want kids, believe them. Because this can go two ways. You can be with that person and not have kids, and then you feel like you're unfulfilled, as the years go by because it was something that you actually wanted. So you're going to be unfulfilled. Or you can be with that person, have a baby with them because they finally give in and say, hey, fine, let's have a baby. But they are piss poor parents because they never wanted that child. Okay? To where you basically feel like you are a single mother. Or they might leave you to be a single mother because, again, they had no interest in having children. So it's a lose-lose situation, Sabrina. Why? Like, I'm just so upset that she did not walk away from him. Like, that was the moment when she should have chose herself to be like, you know what? You don't want to have kids? I can't move forward with this relationship. But no, we gotta suffer through her and Rich a little bit longer. Now, y'all, let's go ahead and move on. We get to Zach. He goes home to see Fatima there, and she was waiting on him to hand her the roses that were in his hand, but he was like, oh, they were for Karen. So now he has to explain, why did he have roses for her and all of this stuff. And according to him, he was going to ask her for the DNA test for the child at her grand opening. Zach, I feel like you made that up on the fly. There's no way you're going to tell me that you were going to give her some roses in one hand and then blurt out of your mouth, so can we go get a DNA test up the street before your grand opening? Ain't no way. I'm not believing it. I'm going to say that maybe you told Fatima that because, of course, you're still trying to balance having Fatima on your ass about things with Karen, and you're still trying to figure out if this is even your child. But, sir, be so for real. Be so for real. You were going to ask her that at her grand opening. That's pure madness. So Zach goes on to say how, Miss Lisa was the one who basically told him to go ahead and go back home. Now, even though, the idea was dumb for him to ask Karen for a DNA test, one thing that I will say is that I like that he's trying to handle things without Fatima. Because at least I was Fatima'd out. It was so much of Fatima handling so much of Zach's BS that, like, she had no time for herself. Baby girl still can't even enroll in school because Zach has other things going on. Like, I need for her life to, again, revolve more about herself than what Zach is, has got going on. So, next thing you know, Fatima is telling Zach that, this is too much or whatever. And I will say that as of lately, Fatima has been saying that more and more and more, that things are too much for her. And I'm just like, I wish that she would have expressed that things were too much when things were getting crazy. Because right now, this is like baby stuff. This is light work. Like, when Karen was doing all the extras last season, that's what she should have been like, this is too much. But I digress. So, next thing you know, Fatima ends up leaving, right? And this is what was weird to me. Because I think she mentioned to Zach at the top of the scene that Gary was being investigated. Why did Zach pull out his phone and try to call Gary? Like, am I tripping? I'm like, why did you whip out your phone to call Gary? You don't even like him. You call him Scary Gary. What is going on? I don't understand. But I digress. So, y'all, we see Gary, and he is pissed off that Andy's not answering her phone or whatever. And next thing you know, his little sidekick has hacked into Penelope's, well, all her stuff, honestly. Because now he has updated her life insurance policy, probably to put Gary on it. And he says that now Gary has access to all of her accounts. Y'all, Gary is going crazy, okay? So next thing you know, we see Andy. She is at the office, and Fatima is like, what's your alibi? And whatever Andy said, it wasn't believable. So she reaches out to Hayden, and Hayden's not really trying to talk, on the phone, but he told her, like, in a text, like, yeah, they mentioned your name 3 times. And here goes Mr. Leland, y'all. So I guess Mr. Leland, he is like the head of the company or whatever. He is walking by Andy's office. And Fatima, Andy tells Fatima to go grab him real quick. So Fatima brings him in. But baby, that man was ready for Andy, okay? He was ready for her when he hit the door. because he went in on Andy and her sleazy ways, and how she left the firm vulnerable, and how he knows that, Gary is her boyfriend. Y'all, this old man got so worked up that he done had a damn heart attack. I said, oh, this is too much for me. Because that is where the episode ended. I kind of feel like that may have been like a dream scene. I'm not sure if Mr. Leland actually came up through there and talked to her that crazy, okay? But y'all, let me know what y'all think about this episode. What do y'all think about this sister circle? Do you feel like they're actually supporting Karen? Or are they just worried about themselves? Do you think that Sabrina should have left Rich? Because I know I do. Yeah, let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to y'all in my next review. Bye, guys.